Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to another video. Today's going to be all about filtering forces using different cutoff frequencies, so we'll play around with that and see how that impacts our signal. Some basics on filtering. We usually filter because we want to make sure we get rid of the noise that is on our signal. This noise could be very frequency specific. And yeah, so the idea is to remove parts of the signal that contain a lot of noise, but we want to make sure those parts are very minimal. Filtering and smoothing, like a moving average, could introduce a delay of the signal, and we usually avoid this by filtering in both directions. So two key goals for this video are to filter and retain as much of the original signal as possible, and then second, ensure that whatever filtering technique we use does not add unrealistic pieces of data to our signal. We'll go over what that means in a second when we plot our different signals. Last but not least, I would highly recommend this paper that came out about 10 years ago that talks about how pairing different cutoff frequencies for the same time points for joint moments and joint kinematics could lead to very different results. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started with MATLAB. Okay, so we want to set a variable fc equal to 15, 20, 30, and 50. So once again, this is our cutoff frequency. We are dealing with force data coming out of force plates. Sample frequency was 1000 Hertz. And then we want to do an order filter of 2 since we're going to be using the filter function, and that just doubles that. So before I run a for loop, I should probably load my data. C data.mat. Okay, so we have moments as well as angles here, but today we're only going to be focusing on force plate data. And then as you can see, we have 6 fields here, so that's 6 different trials. Let's just take a look at this first trial. Okay, so we have a signal that's flipped and somewhat noisy. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do 1/3 length of analog data. And then what we want to do next is we want to use our butter function. And in the butter function, you need an n, which is the order number. Ours is set equal to 2, so we can just do this. And then, excuse me. Let's see. So we want to start off at a cutoff frequency of 15. And so we divide that by sampling frequency divided by 2. So that should give you 500. And then we want to feed the coefficients back in. So let's do B and A. And then save this in a variable called fc_15. And let's start off with a minus here to negate the signal, since we saw that it was flipped. Using the filter function, we're going to feed in B and A, and then let's do analog data with that force plate 1. And I think that should do it. Now let's repeat that. Let's see if this becomes a 20, the second index of FC, third and fourth, and then we go to 30, and then up to 50, let's do a figure 2, and let's only plot the first. Let's only plot the first trial, so let's do plot. This is just negating the original signal because we have to plot that too. Force underscore FC1. Let's make this black with a line width of 3. Okay, so now we have to do hold on. Okay, so now let's go ahead and change this to FC of 15. And let's make this a dashed red signal. And then let's turn this, excuse me, a 20. Let's do a different color, cyan. And then let's go 30. Let's make it a green dotted line, and then last but not least, just put an M here. It would be probably helpful if we do a legend. So let's do this, and I think we're good to go. Okay, so now we can see our signals. Mostly see black and magenta, but if we zoom in, should be able to see the rest of the signals. Okay, and you can see just based on this that magenta does the best job of following the original signal. And we could see that the cutoff frequency of 15 does a really poor job here, as it flattens the signal and then it broadens the signal. So yeah, just visually inspecting your signal to make sure we're not shaving off too much off the peaks and then broadening that signal to ensure data quality. So just based on this, I would probably go with anything but FC of 15. The cutoff frequency of 20 seems to be okay. 30 seems to be probably the best of both worlds. But I would say, yeah, anything larger than 15 might do the job for this. And then let's take a look at the second peak really quick. You can see here maybe FC of 50, so the magenta colored line kind of overdoes this a little bit. And so here I think a FC of 20 or 30 does a better job of just kind of like ignoring this small peak here in the very beginning. Yeah, so just about the same. You can see the over flattening of this curve as well, this peak as well, with FC of 15, while the rest of them do a pretty good job of like trying to go under and then come over for this little peak. Alright, I think this is it for this video. Just wanted to make a short, quick video on filtering and how that can impact your signal. If you have any questions, concerns, feedback, please do comment below and we'll be sure to get back to you.